Gentlemen, welcome. You have come to the right place. No. This is not Nickelodeon. This is not SpongeBob. This is, soon to be, the best hockey podcast on the entire internet. It's going to take some time, but we're going to grow. This is Save and a Beauty, episode number 5. This is our 5th episode. Welcome, boys and girls. We want to thank you for joining us today. You got the three amigos here. Myself, yes, it's sunny in my room today. Rob from Long Island, but still dealing with a little bit of eye issues from the surgery, so we're going to just pretend to be cool. But I'm here on Long Island, joined by my partner on the West Coast, who is rescuing dogs, Carly, the beauty. And then, of course, up in Toronto, I mean, there are no words to describe the man. We've run out of adjectives. We've run out of adverbs. We're not just going to call him brown sugar. The great Ismail. Hello, Ismail. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well.
Man of so many words. And joining us tonight, we have a special guest with us tonight. Now, you all know we're formerly from another world, from another universe, another company that's still floating out there. Maybe they might have disintegrated or exploded by now. We don't know. We don't really care. We're not there. We're gone. But one of the people we met while we were there is another comrade of hockey fandom, another local Long Island boy like myself. So he said, come and join the crew tonight. So tonight, we welcome the great Nicholas Mullock to the studio. Nick, how the heck are you, man?
Oh, my God.
How are the Amish?
They're doing pretty good.
They are.
I don't know what that means, but I guess they're doing pretty good.
Nick has a special on soy milk today at the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen, if you want it, because he's milking cows.
Well, anyway, I kind of did bake soda bread not too long ago, so I'll add that.
Look at this.
I'm part Irish.
Well, we won't tease you about the beard. We'll leave that alone because, say some of us can't grow them properly. But anyway, a lot to discuss. When we last had our podcast, we were right before the trade deadline. And we thought, at least the three of us did, that it was going to be a crazy blockbuster of thousands of trades taking place. And as the day started, it was nothing. It was dead. Hardly any trades. I was watching the guys on TSN up in Canada. Ismail, you'd appreciate this. And they're sitting around the desk. They have like 50 people in the studio. And they got nothing to talk about. They're like waiting for a trade. And then all of a sudden, as it always happens, right near the 3 p.m. deadline, a bunch of trades rolled in. Some big surprises, some big names. Some teams made some good trades. Some teams made some silly trades. Some teams made some bad trades. So what we're going to do is we're all going to talk about the trades that we thought were interesting and surprising. We'll give our grades to some of these trades, see whose teams got helped, whose teams didn't get help, and then we'll quickly look forward to the rest of the season. As we're now in March, we're in the stretch drive. We had about 6 more weeks to go in the season. So, we're getting closer to those playoffs, boys and girls. So, anybody want to make a comment on the actual overall trade deadline?
Pretty much. It's not the worst trade deadline ever, but still, there's plenty of moves that went on that are intriguing, and like you said, that were stupid. And then they're the Rangers, but we'll get to them later.
Of course. Carly, your thoughts?
Honestly, I was expecting, because I know when we had talked about it, like we threw out some names that we were like, these has been the rumors, who we think is interested, and then just nothing happened with them. And then there was a few names that never popped into my mind in the beginning that got traded. But honestly, it was just a very slow day. And it was just not what I was expecting. But it had its wins, but it had its losses, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree with you. Ishmael, what about your thoughts on the trade deadline March 6th?
Of course, there were a lot of trades, especially the trades for the first rounders. Those teams are especially serious for Stanley Cup. The Anaheim Ducks, the Colorado Avalanche, the Detroit Red Wings. So all these players made the trade for first round picks, but of course, they sacrificed their futures for it. But at the end of the day, the nature of the business is there can only be one Stanley Cup winner, so someone's going to be heartbroken in the end.
So as I woke up that morning on Friday morning, like you're waking up to see Santa, waiting for all the trades to take place, looking under the tree, and the tree is empty. I felt like I was like a lost child. There was, I have to admit, one trade that happened overnight. There were some other minor trades, which we can get into if we want to, but no blockbusters. But there was one big trade that was made in the middle of the night, and it was not only surprising to the people in the media like us who look at these trades. It was surprising to the player himself, who wasn't even told about it till when he woke up the next day. And it was a big surprise and a big name as well. John Carlson, who has been a mainstay with the Washington Capitals for as long as Alex Ovechkin has been on the team. As a matter of fact, he was even on the team before Ovechkin got there. He's the Capitals' all-time leader in points, great defenseman, probably on the border of being a Hall of Famer. I think he gets in. Well, in the middle of the night, John Carlson was shipped out to the Anaheim Ducks. I have to tell you, for some good return. The Anaheim Ducks the Capitals received a 2026 first round pick from the Ducks, as well as a 27 third rounder. A great move for Anaheim. And I know Nick has his issues with the Ducks, but I don't want to get into that now. But as far as Anaheim's concerned, you look at their team, they're way ahead of expectations this year. This was a team that wasn't expected to make the playoffs this year. But you look at their defense right now. Radko Gudas, John Carlson, Jacob Trouba. 3 solid veteran defensemen on one side. And on the other side, you got players like Lacombe and some other young players, which names escape me right now. Young, up-and-coming players. They're a very well-balanced defense. I think that the Ducks, who are definitely going to be making the playoffs this year, they're going to surprise a lot of people. And I thought that was a heck of a move, getting Carlson to play for them. You guys have any thoughts on that trade?
No, I think you said it pretty well. But yeah, just the fact that he had no idea until the next morning when was notified is just wild to me. But hopefully he does well.
John Carlson ranks according to the numbers speak themselves. John Carlson, he doesn't move the needle in the power play in the special teams, but he ranks sixth amongst defensemen. In even strength points amongst defensemen. So, I mean, that just shows you how important he is for. So, he's a two-way defenseman player. So, I mean, he's going to do wonders for the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate I won't be able to watch him play. Honestly, I like this deal a lot for both sides, but to me, I think Washington gets the win here. Because let's be real, Carlson was not going to stay here long term. They get out of his contract, and the picks that they get are pretty valuable. I mean, the third round pick in 2027, we'll see. That's a lottery ticket. That first round pick is intriguing, though, and I believe it's a conditional pick, where like if Anaheim fails to qualify, like if they fail to qualify for the Stanley Cup this year. I have no idea what that is.
Ismail's cat's getting horny. I don't know what's going on over there. Something happening.
Okay.
Anyway,
all right. Yeah, so the pick is conditional. So if
you're right.
the other team doesn't make the Stanley Cup, which they shouldn't, because I don't think they're ready. I think they need another year to bolster the depth on that core and to get a new head coach. But I will say this. Washington needed this badly. They were going to blow up everything. And once I think Ovechkin's done after this year, correct?
Do you really? I think he comes back one more year. He hasn't had a bad year this year. I think he's still going to want to play one more year.
Yeah, but the point is, they're going to head towards a post-Ovechkin era. And why not get yourself ready to go for you to get younger, improve your draft capital, and focus on the future. So it's a win-win type deal. I get why the Ducks did it. They needed another piece on that defensive core, but I feel like Washington gets the win here because of the picks, and we'll see if they determine what pick. I mean, the Ducks are losers, but they'll definitely choose this year's pick just so they don't risk next year's pick. But Washington needs the draft capital, and they need prospects, which they kind of did in this trade deadline.
I think they're a very balanced team with a combination. I'm talking about Anaheim, a combination of veterans and young players. This team, I mean, obviously, Nick, you got to be happy for Chris Kreider. I'm certainly happy for him. He got out of a
No.
situation in New York. He wasn't doing well in New York. It was time for a change. He's gone to Anaheim. He's got 22 goals this year. He's playing on their power play. He's doing what he did with the Rangers. I'm really happy for him, and I really hope he does well.
I just can't watch him. I'm sorry. I just wish I could watch
Okay,
him.
well,
That's a you decision.
But,
It is a me
I'll watch and let
decision.
you know. So,
but like,
Yeah,
I
watch
was
and let
really
me
happy.
know.
So again, I think Anaheim's going to be one of the teams to watch come playoff time. I think they're a very well balanced team. They're solid in goal. The style has played very well for them after they moved on from Gibson. So that was the big surprise for me overnight. Moving on to another trade, the Buffalo Sabres, who are the other team that has really been such a story.
My number
they're
two
going to finally
team.
make the playoffs this year. They're going to break a 15-year drought. They're going to make the playoffs. Now, a couple of days before the trade deadline day, they had made a trade to acquire Colton Parayko, a very solid defenseman with St. Louis, to come play for the Sabres. Unfortunately, Parayko had the right to refuse the trade, and he did. So he didn't go. So you figure, okay, Buffalo's all going to be sad and disappointed, but no. They didn't stop. They said, you know what? We need some solid defense. We're not going to give up. So what they did is they called up the Winnipeg Jets, and they got not one, but two solid defensemen. They made a trade for Luke Shen and Logan Stanley, who ironically enough play on the same defensive pair in Winnipeg. They're now moving on to Buffalo, and in exchange, the Winnipeg Jets got a bunch of players. They got a guy by the name of Isaac Rosen, who's been in the Buffalo system for a while, a defenseman, Jacob Bryson, and they got a couple of draft picks in 26 and 27. This is a solid deal for the Sabres. I mean, those two guys, you put them right out there. You got another pair of defensemen. They're both veteran defensemen. The Sabres are a young team. That's really going to help them. So that was a really good trade that took place very early on last Friday on the deadline. Very solid move by the Sabres and their new GM, Jarmo Pekalainen.
Yeah, I love that trade a lot, and it's not just that. It's getting Gavin Bayreuther to solidify the depth, getting Sam Carrick as well. That was a nice add-on as well. I'm actually, because the Sabres are my number 2 team, I'm glad that trade didn't go through with, because I thought it was just a bit of an overpayment. The first round pick, is whatever, but I still think Radim Murka is a really good prospect. I just worry that because this trade happened, that Murka might want out for Buffalo. But, man, it is great to see Sabres hockey actually look competent. What's the bad side for me? You know what the worst part is? The fact that they're going to make the playoffs and now my football team's going to be the longest droughted non-playoff team in sports.
We don't want to bring everybody down. Talk about the Jets. So
by the way,
but you're right.
Rob.
Yes,
Rob.
Ismail.
Yeah,
Yes.
That guy, his name is Isaac Rosen.
Yes, Isaac. I called him Isaac. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Isaac. Okay.
I also forgot to mention too. They also acquired Tanner Pearson as well. That's a very sneaky.
Well, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. I'm really trying to go like in order of what took place, but yeah, they did. That came on after the 3:00 deadline. But what were you going to say, Ishmael?
Do you remember where you've heard his name before?
No, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
You remember the article where you read about Zach Jones and Isaac Rosen?
Oh yes, who was that writer that wrote for the Hockey News? Who was that guy? That was you. I thought it was your cat, but that's okay. Yes, you're right. You did write about that guy. Yes. So you were.
Back
So
when
you obviously
they
have,
were they're part of the Rochester Americans. Yes.
Yes. So what are your thoughts on that trade then? Since you obviously interviewed the guy.
Yeah, I think he's a stud. I think with Zach Jones, like those two were an outstanding 1-2 punch. So I honestly felt that Zach Jones should have gone with them. So I mean I kind of feel bad for you guys that you guys lost on Zach Jones. So I mean
Well, we lost out on plenty more than that, buddy.
We did, but Buffalo they were very active during the trade deadline. As Nick mentioned in an earlier deal overnight, they acquired Sam Carrick from our New York Rangers, I should say. Carrick's a great player. I mean, I shouldn't say he's a great player. He's a solid fourth line player. He gives you a lot of effort. He's physical. He checks. He can put in a goal or two when you need it. He'll stick up for your team. See, these are the type of players that Buffalo needed. They, like I said earlier, they're a very young team. They got two solid veterans to play back on the blue line. They got Carrick to play on their fourth line as a center. As Nick mentioned, which we'll get into, they also acquired Tanner Pearson, another veteran who can put a goal in here or there. They did a great job, I think, at the deadline. But we'll get to some other trades I want to talk about as we moved along during the day. Another team I think we need to watch come playoff time are the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota obviously made the blockbuster trade early in the year. They got Quinn Hughes, and for anybody who didn't know Quinn Hughes, I know Carly gets to watch him a lot because she's a Canuck fan.
I'm surprised he didn't go to New
fan.
Jersey, to be honest with you. I was shocked when that trade hit and he went to Minnesota.
After watching him in the Olympics, I got to realize how good of a player he's been, and he's been lights out since he's gone over to Minnesota. He's really improved that team. They're solid in goal. They got two solid goaltenders. They got great scoring. And they made a couple of moves during the deadline that are going to help them. They're depth moves, but they're going to help them. They acquired Bobby Brink, who was a right winger from the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for a minor league prospect. And then later on, they got Nick Foligno from the Blackhawks. So Nick will now be able to play with his brother in Minnesota. He'll have the Foligno brothers playing together. These are great locker room players that are going to really help their team with a lot of depth, some physicality, some scoring every once in a while. Minnesota, you know what the funny thing is, and we talked about it the other day, the top three teams in the NHL right now are all in one division. Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota. And we could talk about this on another show. The sad thing is, the way the playoffs are set up, which I don't agree with, after the first round, one of those top three teams is going to be gone. It's just a stupid way that the NHL sets up its brackets. But Minnesota, I think this is going to be the year they're finally going to break out. They seem to always have an early exit in the playoffs. I really think if they match up against Dallas, which is the way it looks right now, it'll be a physical war. But I really think this year Minnesota's going to get the one-ups on them, and I think they're going to escape and get out of that first round. But two nice, solid depth moves by the Minnesota Wild.
I'll throw another depth move I like. Roman Schmidt that they got from Philadelphia. That's a nice depth piece that they got to bolster. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but I thought that was a sneakily good pickup for him. But yeah, I like where Minnesota's going. And to be honest, I knew they were contending the moment they got Hughes from Vancouver.
Well, one thing I want to point out, all these three teams, Minnesota, Dallas, and Colorado, they have to get as far as possible because none of these three teams have a first round pick next year. So, they've put themselves in a pickle. So.
No, and it's a good draft coming up too. So they're taking a gamble now because the 26th draft is loaded. But hey, you win for now.
There will be heartbreak
later.
Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
but that's the nature of the game.
Yeah. Now, if you guys remember, Carl, you have any comments on the Minnesota picks or?
I was not seeing the Nick Foligno trade at all. For some reason, that was a shock to me because I was not expecting the Blackhawks to part with him. But I think having the real life Bash brothers together is going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I got some on the bright side, Carly. At least you got out of Myers' contract. That's a positive.
Tyler Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. He moved on too.
Not only that, not only did they retain 50% of his salary, they even got a second in the deal too. I'm surprised
the
Dallas.
Vancouver Canucks are doing their own version of a retool, as we say.
Well, yeah, their owner needs to be retooled.
Well, that's another story. Now, if you guys remember, at the beginning of the hockey, what? Go ahead.
I didn't do my show and tell.
Oh, you want to do it now?
Oh, should we do it at the end?
Yeah, do it at the
We'll
end.
do it whenever we want.
Okay, I'll do it in the end. Okay.
We'll do it in the end. Okay, save it. Save the best for last, as they say. Okay. Now, if people out there remember on our prior life on that other show, before the season started, the three of us made our Stanley Cup predictions on who we thought were going to make the Stanley Cup Finals this year. And one of the teams that I said was going to be in the finals this year were the Tampa Bay Lightning. Well, Tampa Bay pretty much guaranteed they will be in the finals this year because they acquired or reacquired Corey Perry. Not the trade deadline.
I don't know about that. Corey Perry.
Back to Tampa.
I don't know about that.
Going to the finals.
They'll be there.
I don't know about that one because
Corey Perry is pretty much a guarantee
Scrub.
that your team will be going to the finals.
He's kind of a scrub
they're
now.
going to win, Nick. That just means they're going to show up for at least
Right. Doesn't mean they're going to win.
Yeah, but let's be real. Corey Perry's kind of a scrub now. Let's be real here. He's kind of a scrub.
I mean,
all I'm saying is he seems to be a good luck charm for whatever team he's on.
Or they get merchandise sales. You know, and they could recycle the old Perry.
Already going to the playoffs if the standings stick, so he's just adding that reassurance.
Yeah. But hey, at least they got Artemi Panarin.
By the way, Artemi Panarin makes his return to the Garden this coming Monday.
Oh boy, the fact that they traded him away for some double bubble and an old Tupac CD is just crazy.
Well, we don't need to get into that. I'm already upset about that. Now, for all of you out there that know that I am a Ranger fan, and I'm sure Nick will agree to this, my least favorite team, of course, are the other team that plays in New York. As Steve Summers from WFAN Radio used to say, the Icelanders, the New York Islanders. But I have to admit, and I hate to say this, they're pretty much stocked up pretty well. They're a solid team. They got great goaltending with Sorokin. He's probably going to be the Vezina winner this year. And their new GM has made some really interesting acquisitions, and he made a major trade at the trade deadline. So not only did Luke Schenn get traded, but his brother got traded as well. So the Islanders, and this was a surprise, they acquired the captain of the St. Louis Blues, Braden Schenn, in exchange for a bunch of things. They got rid of Jonathan Drouin, who was a waste with the Islanders. He's been a waste wherever he's been. A guy by the name of Marcus Gildoff, I'm not familiar with.
Prospect.
A conditional first-round pick next year, as well as a third-round pick. The Islanders are going for it. I mean, look, let's put it this way. In New York, if you have the spotlight to yourself, if the Rangers are not going to be in the playoffs, which they're not, this is the time for the Islanders to make a move. And with the goaltending they have, there's really no dominant team in the Eastern Conference. It would make me nauseous, but it would not surprise me if the Islanders somehow make it to the Stanley Cup Finals this year.
I don't trust Patrick Roy. I don't trust the coach.
I know.
I don't trust him.
But it could happen. Braden Schenn's a heck of an acquisition for them.
He is. I'll start off. St. Louis stinks. They legit might be one of the worst teams. I think
they won a cup 6 years ago, so you know what? They can stink for a while.
And they stink. They are singing the blues down there in St. Louis. Like, it's going to be a while before they're ready. I mean, oh my God! But it's not just that. Like, not too long ago, they made a rare trade with the Rangers to get Carson Soucy.
Yeah,
that's another neat move.
And they also got Andre Palat too. They got Palat from the Devils. Palat's a good playoff performer.
Yep.
You know?
They're definitely going all in there, but again, I don't believe in this coach. I don't believe in Patrick Roy as this coach. I'm sorry.
Patrick Roy or what?
Yes.
Patrick Waugh.
Yes.
Pronounce the name properly, not Roy.
LeBron James.
Okay, whatever.
No, I'm kidding. Patrick
Waugh.
Waugh.
Islanders, solid move there. You guys have any other comments? Because the Blues continue to make moves. Now, the Detroit Red Wings are another team that's been out of the playoffs for a number of years. But I really believe that they're going to make it back in again. Finally, this year, they've been out for a while, but they could suffer for a while because they won many, many cups in the last couple of years. Detroit, at the trade deadline, they got a nice, solid defenseman on their blue line. They got Justin Falk from the Blues in exchange for a couple of players and a couple of draft picks, including a first-rounder from Detroit. So now St. Louis got a first-rounder from Detroit and a first-rounder from the Islanders. So, Mr. Doug Armstrong getting a lot of draft picks for his Blues to try to restock that team for the future.
He had no choice. He had no choice. No choice.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stockpile picks like you're the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, that team is... Yikes. That team is just... I think that they legit might be the worst team on paper I've seen in years. Except for maybe that one year with the Ottawa Senators when they didn't have their first-round pick due to the Matt Duchene trade.
Well, here's how I'm gonna put it. You know, the Islanders have a young star in Callum Ritchie, and he reminds me of a young Braden Schenn. So I think he's going to be a good mentor for the young 21-year-old. So I think someone like him would be perfect. And of course, I believe personally, this is my opinion, the Islanders are probably going to be in the hunt for the playoff spot. And when you take a look at someone like Schenn, he's got the intensity to to push the Islanders. He's got that the 2019. He helped the team to a 2019 Cup, so he'll dish out the intensity for the Islanders to make it into the playoffs. So I think that's going to be vital for the team.
Dude, how great is Schaefer, dude? That he legit might. He is the best. He's better than what's his face in Chicago. Bedard. I think he's better than Bedard. That's how
it's a bit different position.
Well, yeah, but still.
I mean, like Bedard had a sophomore slump, so we have to check on whether Schaefer has that too next year.
Yeah, that is true. But still, if he can stay healthy and develop like this, man, do they have a star player? He might be the face of their franchise.
Well, he'll be the goal. He'll be the rookie of the year this year. That's easy.
Has to be. I can't. Who else is going to challenge him for it?
There are some other rookies out there that are playing well, but nothing comparable to him. I tell you what, Canada probably regrets not picking him to play on their Olympic team this year, right, Ismail?
Oh boy.
I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, but yeah, I mean,
you want to know what that reminds me of? You want to know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of when Caitlin Clark wasn't chosen for Team USA that one year. I think remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me just like that.
By the way, for all you boys and girls out there, I highly recommend string cheese. A very healthy snack, by the way.
I don't know if it is. That thing is like artificially made.
Well, I'm enjoying my piece of mozzarella. Leave me alone.
Well, it's not real mozzarella. It's not real.
I'm going to ignore that. We're now going to turn it over to the Ismail portion of the show. And the reason I say that is, as we all know, Ismail is a big fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs will probably not be making the playoffs this year, so that'll be now what?
Drop the nuke.
1967 lives another year. The Leafs were very quiet during the trade deadline. They weren't really doing anything. And people were like jumping off bridges in Toronto saying, what the hell's going on here? What are you guys doing? Do something. Well, at 3:05 p.m., after the deadline had passed, this is when all the trades start to trickle in, the first Maple Leaf move took place, and I'll let Ismail talk about it in a minute. And one of the players that had been rumored to be traded was moved on. The Maple Leafs did trade Bobby McMahon, who's a very speedy center. He's got good speed. He's a good offensive player. I guess they figured they weren't going to re-sign him. They moved him on to the Seattle Kraken in exchange for a 27 second-round pick and a fourth-round pick in the upcoming draft. So you got 2 draft picks for Bobby McMahon. Ismail, were you happy with the deal?
I mean, you remember when we talked the night before that time was against them, because, they had to make a deal fast enough so that because, otherwise, I mean, here's the thing, it was all over TSN if you're watching that the Toronto Maple Leafs wanted a first-round pick for McMahon. They wanted that first-round pick. But, I mean, every other team was like, no, we're not giving you a first-round pick. And the time was against them. So, and this happened close to deadline, as time was expiring. So they were like, to hell with it, we'll take a second-round pick. So, of course, that's what they had to settle for that, So that's how the cookie crumbles, as they say.
Again, drop the nuke. You're not winning with this core. I said this the last time we, spoke.
But on the other hand, they got a first round pick for Nick Waugh, so
that is true. But hey, at least their original first round pick might be a top 10 or 5 pick. Oh wait, they don't have that.
Next year, they, no matter how many games they lose, even if they're dead last this year, they're not getting a first round pick this year. So
oops.
So while the Leafs traded McMahon, they weren't done yet. 30 minutes later, again, this is after the deadline had expired, the other name that had been rumored in a lot of trades, and if anybody wants to look back at our predictions from the prediction show before the trade deadline, I picked these names. I don't know if you guys did, but I'll pat myself on the back. Scott Laughton was also moved. He was traded to the LA Kings, which surprised me because the LA Kings, I mean, they fired their coach recently. They did acquire Panarin. They re-signed him to a 2-year deal, so at least he's there for another 2 years. I don't think the Kings are making the playoffs this year. So for them to go out and acquire Scott Laughton, to me, was a little bit of a surprise. Are they acquiring him for now? Are they going to try to keep him around next year? But they did acquire him, and the Leafs got another conditional pick for next year, a third-round pick. Ismail, your thoughts on this trade?
But I think it benefits LA more than it benefits the Leafs, of course. Like I don't see anything, I don't have any comments about what the Leafs are doing. I mean, the Leafs have always been a boneheaded organization in that aspect. So I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say about that. So.
I will say though, you better root for the Kings to make the playoffs because I think the conditions, and Rob, I think you have it in front of you. You can fact check me here. I think the conditions are if the Kings make the playoffs, that pick goes into the second round.
You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
I didn't know that part. Okay.
And they're
Yeah.
on the bubble right now.
Correct.
Yeah, if the Kings make the playoffs, the pick becomes a second round pick. But again, I don't think the Kings are going to make the playoffs. But again, there is some incentive for LA to make it for Toronto's sake. They'll get a higher draft pick. So we'll see what happens. Excuse me, we'll see what happens.
Because Ismail, your team's going to need those picks. Because, like I said, not winning with the score, trade everybody, and start anew. Because you're not winning.
Second
with
is
the
better than third. We would love first, but second we might have to.
Second, even though if it's going to be like a mid or late round second round pick, I'd much rather take that than like once it's like third round under. That's basically lottery tickets. First and second round picks are like where you got to nail it.
But again, Nick, this is from what I've been told, and I'm not really big. I mean, Ishmael knows more about the minor league systems than I do. This is going to be a pretty loaded draft. That they're saying this draft after the first round will be a pretty solid draft. Unlike last year, that they said after the first round it was pretty much hit and miss. So even if you're getting picks in the second round and maybe the third, there's possibly some of these players could turn out to be NHL players down the road. So,
maybe Gavin McKenna could fall down there if he keeps punching people.
Okay. We missed your humor, Nick. We really did. Anyway. Let's move on. Now, the trades, they just kept trickling in after 3 o'clock. Who cares about a deadline? Let's just keep trickling them in after 3 o'clock. Apparently, the fax machine at the NHL offices, it was all backed up. So all these faxes couldn't
Is
get
that
through.
true? Is that an actual
that's
true
what
thing?
happens.
Really?
You have to get the trade submitted before 3 o'clock. They have to go through the fax machine. This is legit. Through the fax machine to get stamp of approval by the NHL. So if there's a backup in the fax machine, that trade could be sitting there, but it'll show you when it was submitted. So if you submit it at 2:59, if it doesn't go through the fax machine until 3:35, it's still good.
It's sort of like how the NFL does trades too sometimes when it's like
so at
last minute ones, yeah.
3:55 p.m., almost an hour after the draft had ended, the trade deadline had ended, Buffalo Sabres, and we mentioned this earlier, and Nick had mentioned it, Buffalo Sabres acquired left winger Tanner Pearson from the Winnipeg Jets in exchange for a 7th-round pick in 27. Obviously, the Sabres didn't really give up much to get Pearson. I guess the Jets just wanted to, dump his salary, and they didn't really want him. The Jets probably are not making the playoffs this year, which is a big disappointment. But Tanner Pearson's been around for a while. He's been on a number of teams. He won a cup with the LA Kings back in 2014 when they beat the Rangers. He's a solid third or fourth line player that's going to help Buffalo, with his veteran leadership. He's a good pickup for the Sabres.
You know what trade I was more shocked on with Calgary? Nazem Kadri going to Colorado.
Well, that's the next trade we're gonna talk about. Because
I apologize. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
it's fine. We're gonna get to
I'll
it now.
mute myself. I'll turn off my camera.
Because this trade... No, Nick, come back. This trade... Will you stop it, please? Oh, my God. The Amish are affecting our... This trade... Believe it or not, I had turned off the NHL Network. I figured they were done. I turned it back on at night, and I noticed that at 4:02 p.m., now we're talking an hour after the deadline, Nazem Kadri was the number one player on everybody's boards that was supposed to get traded. 3 o'clock passes, he's not traded. Like, what the hell happened? Why did they not trade him? Well, they did trade him. Just took us an hour after the deadline to find out. So, and what's really interesting, of all teams that received him, he goes to the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche, top team in the league by far this year. Kadri won a cup with the Avalanche. He goes back. I'm telling you now, if I'm a betting man, which I can be on occasion, I'm putting my money on the Avalanche because this team is stacked right now.
Yeah, and I think that they know it too because they traded. I think the first they traded was for 2028. If I remember correctly.
They have a first-round pick in 2028, which is another conditional pick, as well as a second-round conditional pick in 27. Well, they didn't have a first-round pick next year to give them. They'd already traded that away.
Yeah,
and
you want to
Exactly.
know how else Colorado benefits and nobody's talking about it as much? Calgary is retaining, I think, like 20. I think the number is 25% of his salary,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I mean that doesn't get talked about. Like the Flames are paying a portion of his salary, and
Well, I guess the
I only-
Avalanche probably couldn't fit him under their cap. I'm assuming that's probably why. They
that's
probably
what I'm
couldn't fit him
guessing.
in.
What is their cap situation right now?
I don't know in front of me. I'm not really sure. But if you're telling me that Calgary's retaining his salary, that must mean that Colorado could not have done this trade unless Calgary took money back. I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
But I mean, I don't even know if Kadri wanted to leave Calgary. He kept like saying like I don't
Yeah.
want to leave Calgary.
I watched Calgary last night. I don't know if you watched the game last night, Nick, against the Rangers. Calgary's a bad team. They
Yeah,
have a good
yeah,
young
but-
goalie in Dustin Wolf, but they're another team that has to really rebrand, and they got to make a lot of changes. There was no reason.
struggled.
Kadri's not going to help them. They're years away from contending. So
Well,
I think-
here's the thing about Calgary. Like, they made another trade. We'll talk about that later. But, in the next 2 rounds of the next 2 years, they have 10 draft picks in the first.
right.
2
Well, they're going to reload. They're going to
So they're
retool. Like
so
I just
they're
said.
they're a team of
rebuilding.
the future now. So.
What's that, Carly? I'm glad you're still here, Carly.
So they're being smart about it. They're racking up their draft picks so that when they do decide to blow it all up, at least they have some fresh meat they can get in. So I think
Yeah.
they're
No,
gonna
they're rebuilding. They're definitely
Building back.
rebuilding. So
just
I mean,
not
do
their-
they have their arena deal set? Because like I did hear that like they were having issues with like getting a new arena deal.
they've been
They
trying to
have,
get one
they
for
have
a
a new
while.
arena coming in 2 years. The Scotia
They
Place.
do.
They do. Okay, that's good.
No
for
more
them.
Cow Palace. Oh no, that's not the Cow. Was it the Cow? The Saddle Dome.
Saddle
Saddle
Dome,
Dome.
yeah,
Cow
Saddle
Palace
Dome.
of San Jose. The Saddle Dome. That's right. So the Saddle Dome's going bye bye.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Have you been there?
no.
why you
I
saying
just think it looks cool.
Why
And
you-
plus, it's a blast from the past too. So
So is the Boston Garden. That's gone also. So is
well,
so is
that's
Maple
for
Leaf
that's
Garden.
for
gone
that's
also.
yeah. But Maple Leaf Garden, it's kind of a good thing that thing is no longer around, knowing its history.
So is the old Madison Square Garden, which I missed, to be honest with you, before they renovated the whole thing.
So is
It
the
was
old
much better.
Yankee Stadium. I miss the old Yankee Stadium.
Everything is old. What's old is new. So pretty much, there was one other trade, the last trade that came on the board at 4:15 p.m.
Oh God.
Calgary Flames and my New York Rangers made a little trade. The New York Rangers, who were notorious in drafting shit in the first round, because all their first round picks either suck or they get rid of them.
Or the Gabriel
I can't remember
Pearls.
a first round pick that turned out good. So Brandon Othman, who was drafted about, I want to say 5 years ago, who really was a great minor league, a Canadian Ontario League hockey player, played well in the juniors. I figured this is going to be a stud. It just never panned out with the Rangers. So once again, we've given up on a first round pick, and we traded Brandon Othman to the Flames for somebody by the name of Jake Battaglia. I have no clue who he is. He could be working
ECHL
in a
prospect.
local-
He's an ECHL guy.
He could be playing for Team Italy for the baseball team. I don't even know who he is, but
the Italy baseball team.
obviously they pretty much jumped. They dumped him and said, "Brandon, good luck somewhere else." He's gone. So overall, I give this. Let me get a grade from you guys. I give this trade deadline. I give it a C. It's an overall grade as far as excitement, players traded, etc. I'm giving it a C. Carly, I know you've been speaking a lot during the show. I know you might be out of breath right now, but what would you give it as an overall grade?
I would have to go with like a C minus, just
Oh.
because there were some names that I was expecting to go and they didn't. And
Well, let's
I
talk
just feel like
about
we
that. Who were
didn't
you
have
expecting to get traded? Who
the
didn't get
excitement
traded?
this year?
Well, who were you expecting to get traded that didn't
I
get
was
traded?
thinking Trocheck might go.
Yes.
I was really holding
yes.
on to that one, and then he didn't. So I was like,
Thanks,
that was
Drury.
like the main number one in my head. And then I know we talked in our last episode about Florida and Bobrovsky, and so it was just kind of one of those. I'm like, is he sticking? Is he not sticking? Is he going to sign? Is he not going to sign? Ishmael and I were kind of on the bubble with that one. So there was just a few that were thrown in the rumor mill going in that were like really talked about that there was a lot of traction with that just didn't go anywhere. And so I feel like it was still solid on some of the trades, but I just feel like it just wasn't like last year was more exciting in my opinion.
I know those are two big names that you mentioned that did not get moved. The deadline, good, very good points. Ishmael, what would you grade the trade deadline, and any other thoughts like Carly mentioned?
I would give it a B minus.
A B minus.
You're generous.
Very
Sim-
generous.
No, simply because I like the way this has fallen out, like the fallout of this. You've got teams in the central division, that have given up their futures, in a very competitive division for, you know, heartbreak is guaranteed, and you've got many teams, the Detroit Red Wings, the Anaheim Ducks, teams that have either never or actually no, teams that haven't seen a Stanley Cup for a long time, competing for a Stanley Cup for in a long time. So, I mean, I'm excited to see how the fallout from the deadline will follow into the late portion of the season. I'm just excited to see where this all goes through.
Nick, what about you? What would you give it as a grade and your overall thoughts?
C plus. I'm sort of in the mid range, but I wouldn't say it's the worst trade deadline of all time. There were some big moves that happened, but they trickled in at the last minute, so I'll give it a C plus. I'll be nice.
I mean, it's obviously it's clear which teams are rebuilding, which teams are like in the mix for a trade. I mean, who's in it to win it, and who's given up the future for the cup.
Yeah,
so,
and we also know who's incompetent in retooling.
Yeah. So.
But as we're going toward down the stretch, and we got about 6 more weeks to go, there are certain teams that are really making a push to get into these playoffs. Teams like Columbus, who have been playing really well. Even Ottawa's picked up the pace. Speaking of teams that are on the come, big signing today, Utah Mammoth. They re-upped with Nick Schmaltz, who's one of their players. He's an older player, but he's one of their leaders. So they signed him to an 8-year deal for $64 million. Good trade good signing from Utah. I mean, he's one of their veteran leaders. He's had a good season, and management decided they wanted to keep him around. This is a young team that probably going to make the playoffs for the first time in a long time since they were the old Arizona Coyotes. They're going to make the playoffs this year. I'm happy to see that. A good signing, I thought, for Utah today.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I like Schmaltz in Utah. I think he does well, and I think that just a good dynamic within that team, and they mesh really well, so I'm happy to see him stay.
Nick Schmaltz was an important part of the Florida Panthers' all-important defense last season, so I think this is you can't go wrong with how important that defense played last season. So it was, I believe, the highest scoring defense in the playoffs last season, or was it the regular season? Yeah. So either way, he was an important part of that. So you can't go wrong with this signing.
Yeah, you guys stole the words out of my mouth. I'll conclude by saying, thank God Utah has a hockey team. It's a much better spot for there to be a hockey team than in Arizona. And Utah's actually really growing.
And they're going to have the outdoor game there next year. The Winter Classic will be in Utah next year.
Correct. And I think in 2034, if I remember correctly, they're getting the Olympics. If I remember.
They are getting the Winter Olympics. I forgot the it's.
Was it 2032
it's not
or 2034?
The next Winter Olympics. It's the following, so that would be
2034.
2034. You're right. 2034.
Yeah, because the next.
It's called the Mormon Olympics.
The Mormon Olympics, and maybe by then the Maple Leafs will be back in the playoffs. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
I don't know about that. I mean, they are a pretty delusional franchise. So
now some other news, a little disappointing. The Florida Panthers, who obviously they've won 2 cups in a row, they've been in the finals 3 years in a row. They were expected to have a dip. They've had a lot of injuries this year. They may not even make the playoffs this year. But you know what? If you're a Panther fan, you can't be upset. Well, one of their big acquisitions at the deadline last year was Brad Marchand, and whether you love him or hate him, I'd love to have him on my hockey team. I wouldn't say no. Well, he suffered a lower body injury the other night, and there's rumors that he may need surgery, and if he's going to have surgery, he could be done for the rest of the season. That's a big loss for the Panthers. Like I said, they've been without their captain, Barkov, all year. They were without Kachuk for half the season. Now they're going to lose Marchand. I mean, they've had a lot of injuries, but hey, you know what? They were expected to take a dip, but injuries can take their toll on any team, and it's obviously affected the Panthers this year. So that could be a big loss for the Panthers.
I mean, yeah.
Also missed 10 games before the Olympics, and then he played in the Olympics, and now he's back. So he was definitely playing through injuries the last few months. That just did not.
I don't know how he was like able to play in the Olympics, but listen, they allowed like a skier with a torn ACL to basically ski down the mountain. So who do I know about the Olympics? But let me just say something about Florida too with this injury. First off, I hate lower body, upper body injury designations. I wish they would go away. Like, is it a scratch? Is it a tear? Is it a broken leg? Is it a scratch? Like, well, enough of this lower body, upper body nonsense. But this injury, if he's going to have surgery, is going to impact next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something to keep an eye on for next year. And if he can't get back to playing like old Marchand, that contract could be brutal for Florida.
Now, one other bit of news. Connor McDavid, who obviously is one of the best players in the league, he's probably going to get another MVP award this year. The guy, whether you love him or hate him, I mean, he's a great player. He'll be a Ranger in 3 years. Don't worry about that. Well, he's closing in. He's now, I believe, 3 goals away from scoring 400 goals in his career. He would become the 5th Edmonton Oiler to have scored 400 or more goals in their career. So, boys and girls in the room, let's do a little trivia question. Can you name the other players who are in the 400 goal club for the Edmonton Oilers? There are 4 others. Can you name them?
Wayne's got to be on that list.
That's a tough one, Nick. Good job. That's one, yes.
Messier's got to be.
I'll tell you, Wayne Gretzky had 583 goals. Anybody else want to guess one?
Mark Messier? I think
Who?
Didn't Nick
Mark
say that
Messier?
before you said that?
Yeah, I did before you said that, but you can
What did
take
he
it.
say? I didn't hear what he said. What did you say?
I
Mark
said Messier.
Messier did not score 400 goals with the Oilers.
I
He
think
did
Dreisaitl.
score more. This is just with the Oilers, not overall.
Okay.
Messier did not score 400 goals with the Oilers.
I got one. I think I got one. I think Draisaitl has gotten 400
Leon
goals.
Draisaitl currently has 433 goals with the Oilers. That's 2. You got 2 others. One of them's a Hall. Actually, they're both Hall of Famers. You should get these if you're hockey fans. Don't look it up.
I don't have my
I'm
phone
so
nearby me.
disappointed with my co-stars on this show.
I know.
They were on the Stanley Cup winning teams with the Oilers, boys and girls. I know I'm older than you guys, but come on, these are big names.
Is Curry at one of them?
Yes, Yari Curry.
Yari
is the
Curry,
number.
yeah.
He scored 474.
One more, Nick.
And the who?
I said one
One
more,
more?
Nick. Come on.
Okay, hold on. I already
One
said
more.
Gretzky. I already said Draisaitl. I already said Curry. Shoot. Anderson?
Played with the Rangers as well.
He just
Anderson?
Won a cup with them in '94.
Yeah, I think Glenn Anderson, was it?
Glenn Anderson.
Yeah. It has to be Glenn
Third
Anderson.
time's a
Glenn
charm,
Anderson
Nick.
scored 417 goals. So anybody that's listening out there, I am now taking applications for new co-hosts for the show. Because obviously, Ismail Carley, they're letting me
You
down.
already know
over
I'm
here.
terrible at trivia.
Ishmael calls
Sounds
himself a
nice.
Canadian sports fan. Can't even name the players. I mean, that's embarrassing.
I mean,
That's embarrassing.
Unless
First,
it's
your
in
cat
football.
almost screwed up the show, and now you can't even name the players. Your show and tell better be damn good, sir. Better be good.
It better save
So,
a beauty.
it will be.
Yeah, well, any other news and notes before we get to the pièce de résistance, as they say in France? Any other news you want to talk about? Anybody? Hello?
Nothing.
I got
Nothing.
something.
Okay, good.
Well, you got something you want to show us.
Yeah,
No, well, there's
Ishmael.
one other thing I'm going to mention, and I find this very interesting. John Cooper, the coach of Tampa Bay, he's a great coach. He's won cups with them. Obviously, was the coach of the 4 Nations. He was the coach in the Olympics. Do you guys know? Well, Carly and Ishmael, you probably don't know because you didn't know the other question. But do you guys know that John Cooper has never won NHL Coach of the Year?
Yes.
Well, that's shocking to me.
I don't know.
I think this is going to be the year that John Cooper finally gets his dues. And he should. Guy's a great coach. How has he not won Coach of the Year?
I don't know. As long as you know who doesn't win it, I'm fine with John Cooper getting it this year.
Oh, God. Let me tell you, he could win it. Joel
He better
Quenneville,
not.
if you guys don't know who he's talking about.
He
So,
better not.
Could.
He's lucky
We'll
to
see
still
what
be in the
happens.
league
So-
after his shenanigans. And
All right, well,
I'll say
that's
it.
pretty much-
I'll
yeah,
say
all
it
right,
one
more
time.
things.
I say it one time, and that's it. Fire Joel Quenneville tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And
You're
that'll be
welcome.
the last time we see Nick on this show.
All right.
Anyway,
Goodbye.
before we get into the great, and we'll explain what it is to all of you new listeners out there. Nick, come back.
I'm back.
Anybody want to make any comments on the season right now? I mean, any team out there you're going to be watching going down the stretch? I mean, obviously, we've talked about some of the teams that are making a push. I would love to see the Columbus Blue Jackets get in, especially, with losing Johnny Gaudreau 2 years ago. It would still be a great story. Obviously, it was a great story during the Olympics. U.S. won the gold medal. They brought his jersey on the ice. They brought
And
his
his
kids on the
kids,
ice.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a great story. I would love to see the Blue Jackets make it. They have a great fan base. They just haven't had luck with teams in the playoffs. And they brought back Rick Bowness out of mothballs, and since he's taken over the team, they've been playing really well. I'd love to see them make the playoffs. So I'm going to keep an eye on the Blue Jackets. What about you guys? What's the team you guys are all going to watch?
Yeah, the
down
Blue
stretch?
Jackets. The Blue Jackets are there, and by the way, I hope they throw the book at the guy who ran over the Gaudreaus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The one other team I do kind of want to watch a little more, and that's only because it's a glimpse of the future. Kind of want to see San Jose make it because that team
Agreed.
really is intrigued. And Macklin Celebrini, that dude is a phenomenal player.
Oh yeah. Stud.
I mean, here's the thing, and this might be an early prediction, but I feel like the Eastern Conference will come down to the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Detroit Red Wings. That's my
Really?
thing. Yeah,
Interesting.
I think
Detroit
those are.
Red Wings.
I think after that, the talent fall off is really significant. So
We'll have plenty of time to make our predictions, Ishmael. We're not doing that yet, but all right, that's fine. Any team you're going to be watching down the stretch?
the Detroit Red Wings, I believe.
Detroit Red Wings. Okay, that's a good team.
The talent was already great, and then when they made the trades, their talent even became greater. So I want to see them really progress past.
Now, Carly, you've had so much to say during this episode, but of course I'm going to say as far as your teams to watch, I think Nick stole your thunder. I think you're probably going to also agree
Sorry.
No,
with me. You're going to be watching the Sharks, although
Sorry.
it's not fair because they are your team, Carly, but if there's any other team out there that you'll be watching besides your little Sharkies.
I'm gonna stick with the little baby Sharks. Again, they're only like 2 spots away from a wild card spot right now. I think LA's like right in front of them, so they have a good chance of turning it around. They haven't had a good.
How the hell have Vancouver not been eliminated from the playoffs? That's my question.
They're not even on the top of my mind right now. But I know with San Jose, like right now, like William Eklund got hurt, so he's out, and he's one of the young players. We have a few others that are out, but our goaltending has been really good. And I think that's, besides Macklin, I think our goaltending is going to be another savior when it comes to that final push, getting us there. So I'm hoping.
Well, we're going to all be watching. We're all going to be watching. It'll be an interesting drive to the playoffs. There's still a lot of teams in the mix. We got about 6 weeks to go until the season ends mid-April, but it'll be interesting. A lot of teams that have been in the playoffs over the last number of years are not going to be in it. So there's going to be a lot of new teams this year. You got Rangers, Toronto, Florida, possibly Boston. A lot of teams that that are not making the playoffs, that are perennial playoff teams. A lot of new teams are going to come in, especially like Buffalo, Detroit, Montreal might get in,
Seattle's
possibly
even in a
Columbus.
spot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Ottawa maybe, even though I don't.
There's a lot of teams that have a shot, so it's going to be a great stretch drive.
I still think Ottawa's a mediocre hockey team, but you got to throw them in there.
So now, I want to end this show on a high note, which this may or may not happen. For all of you that used to watch our old podcast, we had a couple of interesting features that we would do weekly, on a regular basis, and some of them were spot on, lots of fun, each week bang on. Others just were pathetic. One feature that we did start was something that was started by our great colleague Ismail here, who every week would come on and would do a show and tell of something that he either acquired in his life or stole, or the other. And he would pretty much bring it on the show and show it to us and explain a story about it. Things from old jerseys to old articles to talking about childhood days in Pakistan where the kids would say "Death to America." He
Oh,
would
Jesus
show us this
Christ.
stuff in the show.
Good time.
So anyway, we love
I don't
that
know if those
stuff.
are good times.
Well, those were good times before everything now, which we don't want to get into it now. We're not going to.
I don't even think it was good times back then when they were saying it.
So we haven't done these segments yet on the new show. However, Ishmael has told us prior to the show starting today that he, because Nick was here, he was going to honor Nick's presence by bringing back the old the old Ishmael's show and tell. So that being said, we're going to give the floor to Ishmael. We don't have the opening graphic, I don't think. I don't think we're allowed to use that one. But Ishmael, the floor is yours. Please, I beg you, don't kill the show. Please, make it good.
Listen.
Ishmael, it's your floor,
Don't
buddy.
worry, I can
Ishmael-
always clip it out.
You could clip it out, that's right.
Yeah, Ishmael,
I mean,
just say the beauty and let's get this
Yeah.
rolling.
Ishmael, the floor is yours.
Okay, let me start now. Okay, for people who were on our last show, you remember like last year I I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about last year. I went to the elimination chamber pay-per-view, PLE now you call it, in Toronto. That happened. So
Nick's a big fan of wrestling, for all you people that
Yes,
don't know
no,
out
Yeah,
there.
the WWE Elimination Chamber PLE event that happened in Toronto. So where the infamous John Cena heel turn happened. Carly, I don't
Yes.
think you know what that means. But
I don't know anything
Very-
about it.
so,
Well, you
So-
wouldn't be able to see this heel turn, I'll tell you that.
So I attended that event in person. So that was my first PLE event that I attended. So I have with me three framed memorabilia from the event.
Oh my God.
In terms of for like they paid tribute to the event. So. Just to commemorate the event for myself. So here they are.
Wait a minute, hold on. Before you show what you have, this is a hockey podcast, right? And we're
Yeah.
going to show wrestling stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
for sure.
wresling,
That's right, go ahead.
wrestling's amazing. I mean,
That's why
Yeah,
this is
what-
for-
what you gonna
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
brother? What you gonna do, brother?
All right, Hulk. Let's go, Ishmael. What do you got?
So I had this framed shirt that I bought, which
Oh.
that was there.
Whoa.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Look at that. Amazon frame and everything. That's nice,
So-
buddy.
that's the
That's
first part
sweet.
that that was the first part that I had, and this is the second part. It's a small one. It was the
is that?
the picture that I took of the chamber dropping down in front of me.
Oh, that's
you know.
cool.
So
Look at you.
and the third part, which I did not make, but I ordered it from Fanatics, but it's the centerpiece of the whole collection. It is the actual piece of the ring.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if you can see it. So
Yeah, a little lower.
Uh,
No, lower. Not close. Lower. Higher. No, lower.
To the left.
To the left. A little lower.
It's fine.
There we
We
go.
can see
Much
it.
better. Now I can see
God.
it.
There go all of our listeners.
So that's
Jesus.
So that's the limited piece edition for the ring from Fanatics. So
That's cool. Oh, with the certificate. Oh, that's cool.
so
Can I have it?
Wait, hold on. Ishmael, how much did you pay for that?
this was $90. So.
$90. You paid $90 for a piece of material, which they could have grabbed off of some cheap chair in like an IKEA. And you
I know.
really think that that's from the actual ring from the event?
I mean, it's certified.
You think that
Oh,
people,
God.
little gremlins at the end of the pay-per-views, they go in the ring with little scissors, and they slowly cut up little teeny pieces of the ring, and they divide them up, and they
Rob.
say to Fanatics, "Here you go. Here's 4,000 pieces of the ring. Now go sell them and make a shitload of money."
Rob.
And you,
Yes, they do. They do that all the time.
you fell for it and bought one.
They do that all the time.
I know. And
then-
here's a perfect example of some schmuck who bought one.
I mean, we are the wrestling expert here, so you know.
Now, will this improve the quality of your life?
Yes.
I mean, I mean,
makes
it's
you
not like
happy.
I just went to some other random show. I attended the event. I was there in person, so.
Yeah.
Right?
You got to see The Rock and Travis Scott beat up on Cody Rhodes.
And
I
John
would have you
Cena.
rather had
Well,
like
I
a pair
didn't.
of like, one of the,
Ishmael,
now,
we didn't see it
if you had a
happen.
framed pair of one of the women's panties,
Oh,
now then I
that's
would have been
disgusting.
What's going on in the show now?
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I should just go into the ring and then just take him off and
I mean,
run for the
Becky-
hills then.
Becky Lynch's
God.
panties, then I'm gonna be impressed.
Oh.
You know, let's see what happens here. So-
Okay. Oh God. Oh God.
all right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta cut that out.
Sorry, Carly. I
you
apologize.
gotta cut that
Yeah.
out.
Leave that
I
in.
know.
Leave that in.
We've
We're leaving it in.
lost the will to live here, boys and girls. That's it. All right. I just don't know
Jesus
what
Christ.
to say about this show and tell. I guess next week you're going to be showing
I
us a
don't know what to say
collection that you
about
got from the
this.
NBA Finals.
Give us a week to process, and we'll have words.
So next week, Ismail will be showing us artifacts from the NBA All-Star
No,
Game.
no more comment. No more show and tell after that last comment, man. I don't know what more
No,
things
we
you'll
love the
say
show
next.
and tell. Be nice if it was hockey related. So actually, you know what? I tell you what. Next week, bring back the pictures of the children in the school in Pakistan.
Oh God.
No.
Now you're making this creepy. Now you're making it creepy.
All right. If anybody else has anything else to say, we can call it a night, and I can go eat my string cheese
Rob,
and go have dinner.
Rob,
Yeah.
you need therapy.
I do.
You need therapy.
I think it's the eye surgery. I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway,
I can't believe you
ladies
said
and
that.
gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this camaraderie. Where else do you get this on the internet? We not only do we talk hockey, but we make fun of Canadians. I mean, who else could do that for you guys?
I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people that did that during the Olympics.
Yes, they did it by themselves.
5
we
on
hope that
3 if
everybody
they
out
don't
there-
score. Oh,
I hope everybody out there has enjoyed the camaraderie of our trade deadline show. I'm sure we all had a lot to say, especially Carly. We all had lots of comments. Carly was in it. She was talking a lot tonight. And of course, having Nick join the show brought back old memories. Not so good, but brought back old
yeah,
memories.
not so good from.
And Nick,
yeah.
you're more than welcome to come back anytime you'd like, Nick. You're more than welcome to. As long as you
course.
don't have a show and tell like Ishmael.
Well, I'm pretty sure the show and tell wouldn't be as better. I mean, he got to show me wrestling memorabilia. What do you want me to show?
And
Hacksaw
actually, if
Jim
Nick
Duggan's
comes back-
2x4? Signed?
And actually,
I
if
actually have that.
If Nick comes back for another episode, he might come on and he might start herding cattle and milking cheese and stuff like that. Show us what the Amish do.
I would
Milking
love
cheese, that makes no
I
sense.
would I would love to do that one day though if I had the chance to. I know how to make bread though. That I know how to
All
make.
right, that's great. All right, boys and girls, that's it. Carly, why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's it. We'll see you next week for another thrilling episode of Save and a Beauty. Bye, guys. Later. Jeez.